Welcome back to Science Corner, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to dive deep.
Today we're looking at something I bet you've all used. I mean, who hasn't?
Let me guess. The Large Hadron Collider.
Not quite. Something a little closer to home. We're talking about the physics of garbage disposals.
Ah, the humble garbage disposal. A marvel of modern engineering often taken for granted.
Exactly. We just kind of toss stuff in, flip a switch, and poof, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever stopped to think about how it actually works? The physics behind it is actually pretty amazing.
It really is. And it all starts with a simple principle. Rotational motion.
Okay, so things spinning. I kind of remember that from high school physics.
Right. At the heart of your garbage disposal is a powerful electric motor, and this motor applies torque to rotate a flywheel.
Torque.
Yeah, torque is a twisting force that causes rotation. Think of it like using a wrench to tighten a bolt. The motor provides that twisting force to spin a heavy flywheel. Now, the flywheel is a key component here. It's basically a heavy disc.
Okay, so a heavy spinning disc.
Right, and because it's so heavy, it has a high moment of inertia.
Inertia. Is that like an object's resistance to movement?
You got it. The higher the moment of inertia, the harder it is to change an object's rotational speed.
Mm-hmm.
So even when you throw in tough food scraps, that flywheel keeps spinning at a pretty constant speed.
So that's why it doesn't like jam up when I accidentally drop a, well, something I shouldn't have.
Let's avoid specifics, shall we?
Yeah.
But yes, the high moment of inertia is why your disposal can handle a pretty good beating.
Pretty impressive for something that sits under our sink.
Yeah.
So we've got this heavy spinning disc.
Yeah.
How does that actually grind up the food? Are there like super sharp blades in there?
Nope, no blades. Instead, it uses a combination of impact and shear forces.
Impact and shear. Sounds intense.
It is. So attached to that spinning flywheel are these things called impellers. They're kind of like blunt arms. And as the flywheel spins, the impellers fling the food outward with a lot of force.
Okay, so flinging, what does it fling it to?
Against the grind ring. The grind ring is a stationary ring with kind of jagged edges.
So it's smashing the food against this ring.
Precisely. The impact shatters harder foods like bones or food pits.
I really wish I hadn't put that peach pit down there.
Live and learn, right?
So impact for hard stuff. What about the softer things?
That's where the shear forces come in. The jagged edges of the grind ring basically rip and tear apart things like fibrous vegetables or meat scraps.
So different forces for different types of food.
Yeah.
Clever. Okay, so now we got all this ground up food, but how does it all get washed away? I mean, obviously water is involved.
You're right, water is key. And it's not just about rinsing things down the drain. It actually plays a crucial role in the physics of the disposal. You know how they always tell you to run water while the disposal is on?
Yeah, you're not supposed to run it dry.
Exactly. There's a good reason for that. It all comes down to Bernoulli's principle.
Bernoulli's principle, sounds familiar, vaguely.
Well, in simple terms, Bernoulli's principle states that as the speed of a fluid increases, the pressure within the fluid decreases.
So the water rushing through the disposal creates like low pressure zones.
Exactly. And those low pressure zones act like mini vacuums, helping to suck the waste down the drain.
So the water is like a built-in vacuum cleaner. Nice. But wait, there's more, isn't there? You mentioned something about cavitation before.
Oh, yeah. The water doesn't just carry away waste, it also helps break it down further through cavitation.
Cavitation. Okay, now you're just using big words to impress me.
Not at all. Cavitation is actually pretty cool. As the water rushes through the disposal, the changes in pressure can cause tiny bubbles to form in the water. These bubbles then collapse violently.
So they like implode.
Precisely. These implosions are incredibly powerful on a small scale. Think of them like tiny little jackhammers pounding away at the food waste.
Whoa. So we've got impellers, we've got smashing, we've got imploding bubbles. My garbage disposal is a war zone down there.
In a way, yes. A very efficient war zone.
So this all sounds pretty violent. Does it ever overheat with all this action going on?
It can generate heat from the friction of all that grinding and smashing. That's another reason why running water is so important.
Okay, so the water keeps things cool. Anything else?
Well, the water also helps lubricate the grinding components, reducing wear and tear. It's truly a multitasking marvel, that water.
Absolutely. I never realized how much I had to thank my tap water for.
You and your garbage disposal both?
So we've talked about the grinding action, the water flow. What about the noise and vibration? My garbage disposal can get pretty loud and shaky sometimes.
Oh, yes, the symphony of the kitchen sink.
More like a heavy metal concert in there sometimes. So how do they keep the thing from vibrating itself to pieces?
Well, garbage disposals are cleverly designed to minimize vibrations. You've probably noticed those rubber mounts that connect the disposal to the sink.
Yeah, I always assumed those were just to keep the sink from rattling too much.
They do that, but they also serve a much more important purpose. They help prevent a phenomenon called resonance.
Resonance. Okay, that's another one for the physics textbooks.
Think of it this way. Every object has a natural frequency at which it vibrates. If the vibrations from the disposal match the natural frequency of the sink, those vibrations can amplify. It's like when an opera singer hits that high note and shatters a glass.
Wait, so my sink could, like, shatter if the vibrations got too strong.
It's unlikely, but uncontrolled resonance can cause serious damage in many
So
systems.
those rubber mounts are like little shock absorbers.
Exactly. They dampen the vibrations, preventing them from amplifying and potentially damaging your sink.
Wow, my sink owes a lot to those little rubber mounts.
Indeed. Garbage disposals also often include other features like balanced rotors and internal damping mechanisms to further reduce vibrations.
It's amazing how much thought and engineering goes into something we often take for granted.
Absolutely. We've only just scratched the surface, but it's clear that the garbage disposal is a triumph of applied physics.
We've learned that a garbage disposal uses torque and angular momentum to power through waste, that it leverages the properties of food to break it down, and that water is essential not just for cleaning, but for the entire grinding process.
And let's not forget those clever design features that keep the vibrations in check.
Absolutely. So the next time you're washing dishes and hear that familiar hum, just think about all the amazing physics happening right beneath your sink.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe someday they'll even sort our recycling for us.
Well, I wouldn't put it past the clever minds that design these things.
That's all the time we have for Science Corner today. We hope you enjoyed this fascinating deep dive into the world of garbage disposals.
Until next time, stay curious.
And keep those sinks clean.